By 1 second, Josh, real quick. Federal law, no pun intended, trumps state law, correct?
Exactly. In any conflict between federal law and state law, the federal law prevails. But in the present moment, we don't actually have a federal mandate. Biden announced a policy a month ago.
I'm just kidding. I don't ever want to argue with a lawyer, but we do have a mandate for government contractors, which is what Southwest and American Airlines are, though, right?
Right. So for the airlines in particular, they have a policy in effect immediately. So there is a conflict there.
Okay. Jessica, to that end, it's pretty clear, based on what Josh has said and any other lawyer you talk to for that matter, that the governor's order is pretty much meaningless. What's the political calculation? Is this about running for president or getting more interviews, or what's his deal?
Well, certainly, I do think Abbott has 2024 ambitions. But before that, he is up for re-election. And he actually has several Republican primary challengers. One of them, a former Republican state senator, Don Huffines. He had challenged Abbott about any sort of vaccine mandate in the state. And he essentially took a victory lap after this new executive order from Abbott banning any entity in Texas from implementing a vaccine mandate, including private businesses.
So, Josh, how does this play out? A private business puts on a vaccine mandate, then an employee challenges it, and where does this go?
It's messy. The Texas Attorney General would actually be able to challenge the employer mandate in court. It gets even worse. The order applies to a Texas entity. Could that be, say, Google or Facebook, which is not an airline, but employs people in Texas? A California company may have a mandate in place under state law. So this creates a lot of confusion. It's still not clear how this will actually be enforced.
So, Gabby, in other words, there's a win for Governor Abbott simply in the fight, is his view. Jessica?
Yes, I think that is correct. This is essentially sort of a piece of red meat that he can throw to the base, one that is very powerful in Texas, even if about 65% of Texans actually support a vaccine mandate in some capacity, whether that's federal, state, or local.
That's interesting. So it's 65% support actually a mandate versus just support getting vaccinated?
Sure. Yeah, that comes from the COVID-19 States Project. So that was actually, I think, probably surprising for folks. I think it was upwards about 70% of Texans are in favor of a vaccine requirement for airline flights. But, there's also polling that shows Abbott is underwater. These are tough times for him. In Texas, a majority of Texans right now do not support the way he has handled COVID-19. You have to remember, in our state, the Delta variant was very detrimental these last couple of months, and it was very harrowing for many places.
Yeah, we've certainly seen over time that when you get this spike, in the beginning, everybody loves the freedoms. Then as deaths go up, popularity of whoever allowed the freedoms goes down, and then popularity of whoever allows the freedoms go back up, just in that wave. Polling comes into this in so many different ways. Reason for getting vaccinated, 67%. Incentives or fear of the virus, only 8% because of the mandates. Professor, I'm wondering, does the public opinion play in at all once this gets to court about how effective they are or whether they serve a purpose?
Well, I think this executive order is for litigation purposes. Eventually, Biden will impose his federal mandate, but it's not by statute, it's by an executive order. And I think Texas will argue, see, you have the president overreaching into an area the states are trying to regulate on their own. So I think it weakens Biden's case for federal power. And the states are enacting these sorts of policies on their own right.
That's fascinating. And that's why we have a constitutional professor on to talk about this. Jessica Montoya Coggins with us as well. Great perspective from you both. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Leland.